Hey everybody, back with a new episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Last episode, we obtained some gravitonium, just a little bit, but most of it went to General Hale and her little super team that she's creating. She's got her daughter Ruby, Von Strucker, which I guess he doesn't associate with that name anymore, so Alex, and then Creel. What that's going to become, I'm not sure. And I don't even necessarily think Hale has 100% control over it, because I don't know if her daughter would do exactly what she says. She seems, like a teenager who wants to rebel against authority. So we'll see if there's some inner workings there that kind of go awry for them. But I still want to know, like, who is, like, calling the real shots here, because I don't think it's Hale. And the team is still trying to save Phil while they're also, doing everything at the lighthouse and inevitably going to get back to the future. But we've got a couple avenues. I mean, they were trying to see if maybe this Hydra scientist could do something, or maybe even like the Deathlock program. That's kind of on the table as well. And I think we have to go back to the future to do it. I think that's the catalyst for it, especially what we know with what was said by Yo-Yo in the future. But she, as of now, is about to get her robot arms, which is seeming like it is boosting her morale. She is still wanting to fight for the change that her future self doesn't see. So that's all still hopeful. I still feel like they will, but they have to go back first. Like, they have to fail to then succeed. But also, Deke knows that his grandparents are his grandparents. Fitzsimmons are his grandparents. I wonder if he's going to tell them. Like, how shocking would that be for them? But also, like, when are they going to get pregnant? Like, when is that happening? We saw their daughter, Deke's mom, or a scary version of her that was cooked up from the rip, which we repaired with a gravitonium. I think we're good, but who really knows? This next episode is called The Devil Complex. What is that? Mephisto? I doubt it. But, it kind of gives me like Robbie Ghost Rider vibes. So I don't know if that is something to do with it, or if we're going to get deeper into what's going on with this new iteration of S.H.I.E.L.D. / Hydra / new. I don't even know what to consider them, but if this is more of a focus on that, when are we going to get back to the future? I know it's coming, so let's just do it. But we've got a few episodes still left to go this season, so I might just have to wait. They might just make me wait. So we'll see, but let's get back into it. That's not Gemma's ex, is it?
Hobnobs.
Did we not heal the rift?
I want Maltesers and I want Twiglet.
The gravitonium needs to be compressed to work with this. I have no idea.
So we still are pending that.
I don't know how. Why did it have to be a fear dimension coming to life? Why couldn't it be dream?
This fear dimension just won't go away.
Goodness knows what else could come crawling out of there.
Don't say that.
Trust me.
Radio home. Tell them we bagged us a general.
This can't be that easy.
I'm pretty good with metalwork. I guess it runs in my DNA.
He really wants to tell them.
Hey man, well, I'm no doctor, but that looks like the opposite of what you're
Oh no, is this spirit dimension stuff?
I'm the only doctor here.
Oh no, he's scary Fitz. He's framework Fitz. No! This is a nightmare for Gemma and for everyone, to be honest.
I can see why people follow you so blindly.
It's called loyalty.
But only to a point. You need more than that for what I'm trying to do.
And what would that be?
Prevent our extinction.
I mean, I guess that's fair from her point of view if she knows that we're the cause
Any
of
physical notes
the
from Dr.
quake.
Hall.
Are you okay? Have you even slept?
During what possible period of time, Daisy?
Okay, Fitz, you don't need to carry the weight of the world. We are all here.
You're on the right track.
Ooh!
What are you doing here? What you are unwilling to do. Wait, what's going on?
We don't need you,
More anomalies have begun occurring.
right?
Until we get a better handle on the situation, we're moving you to another floor, out of the line of fire.
I don't need you to protect me.
Don't move.
Uh-oh.
No, whatever it is that you're planning, I'll stop you. Come on. You couldn't stop me if you wanted to.
Let me show you what we are really up against.
Okay. Show
Come
us.
with me.
No, thank you.
You probably need to know
I don't like taking orders from backseat pilots.
what the hell she's talking about.
Oh, come on.
You sure?
Do you really think that hacking my phone was some sort of stealthy exploit I was unaware
I
of?
thought it was too easy.
You underestimate me.
She can be persuasive.
Oh yeah, that's what good guys do. I fucking knew it. I knew that bitch wasn't dead.
So good to see you.
Ivanov, eat shit.
I thought you deactivated those things before bringing them back.
It's not an anomaly.
No, it would have disappeared. That thing is real.
The doctor from the framework. Leopold. He's here.
Parts of me will always be human. But I have gained so much more with this new form. How's that for a cool origin story, bro?
Don't you hate
So
yourself,
what? We
bro?
turned over a new leaf? Or just another Russian infiltrating our democracy?
Humanity still stands threatened.
Putin called out.
I will ensure this planet's survival for generations.
He said that he wanted to do what I was unable to do.
Which is what?
To finish what was started.
What does that mean? Was he trying to bring back Ada, make her another body?
After Ghost Rider,
No
I don't think there's
way.
any coming back from that.
That wasn't his only operation in the framework. He was also in charge of inhuman experimentation.
And that means he's also after...
Daisy.
Daisy.
Where is she?
Okay, Wild Goose. 1, Daisy Johnson 0.
Oh! Whatever he does, I think he activates her powers again, maybe.
If I can get clarity on what we're dealing with, then all the better.
and we
I
don't
think
discuss
clarity
it.
would help.
We know this is a trap, though.
Yeah, and it's a really good one, too.
Don't do that. Not now. Not when you're turning your back on me.
Turning my back on you. What other way out is there?
Oh god. This is going in directions I just wasn't prepared for.
Fitz.
That's not how you address a Hydra superior.
Get out of here.
My work
I'm
helps
gonna like supercharge you up.
by restoring your powers.
Restore.
What? No.
It's gonna happen.
I've told you.
I didn't think this is how it was gonna happen, but it's happening.
You could... No. Ah!
You're not the one calling the shots here.
There's someone up above him,
Hell must have your balls in a vise.
or it's them two jockeying.
Actually, it's his head in a jar.
You know I make it to that point in the future. Nothing can happen to me until then.
We just lost both.
I mean, that's an interesting theory.
That's not nothing.
But I didn't die.
The future we saw isn't guaranteed.
Yeah, is it guaranteed?
We're
Wouldn't it
actively
just
working to make sure it doesn't come
evolve
true.
or
That
just
means you could
adapt?
still die.
Well, then we would have broken the loop.
Oh, she's okay with that too.
Mac!
Our powers are the missing key to manipulating the gravitonium.
Oh,
What's going on?
No, because you what? Look at you. You are weak.
You're talking to?
No. Finish what we
who are
started.
you talking to?
Fizz!
He's not even there. Oh, what the fuck? Fitz was doing it the whole time.
It wasn't an anomaly.
He just
It was you.
There are always risks involved. You know that, Gemma.
You're right. But potentially paralyzing
How did he
Daisy or
disassociate
destroying
like
her are
this?
two massive risks, Fitz.
Let's hope that that doesn't happen.
No, Fitz.
What?
Please.
I mean, this does have to happen is the fuck of it all.
Please, you do not want to do this.
Well, we're certainly bridging the gap between that Leo and this one, for sure. We couldn't done that with more anesthetic. Doctor.
I suspect you won't be the only one. You need to compress the gravitonium down as much as possible. Then carefully guide it over and insert it into the sphere.
Well, it's done. I'll say he doesn't have it in him.
Been hearing him for a while now.
You've been
Since
letting
we
him
left the
lead
framework.
you.
Only just started seeing him.
It's your injury acting up. You used to see me too when I wasn't there.
You were my conscience.
Then what was he?
A version of that. The fucking devil. The devil on his shoulder. And she's the angel.
It was me.
It was him. But he had like cognitive dissonance that it wasn't him. But now he's accepting
How are
it.
Daisy and Mac?
Wow.
You have to talk to them.
I still believe that it was the right thing to do.
I think it is. Is the thing. Is the whole thing.
What does that make us?
I don't know.
How else would she have gotten her powers back to do this?
He's losing himself.
Oh.
I feel like I'm losing him too.
Oh. How has this happened? I can't believe this. I didn't see the signs.
You ever lost him? My mom used to tell me about her parents all the time.
Oh my god.
She always spoke about her dad with so much love and admiration on her face.
Oh my god.
Said that he was the best man she ever knew. So I know that you can help Fitz. And I know that you two are gonna be okay.
Unless they don't. Like, things might change.
The steps you take don't need to be big.
Ah!
They just need to take you in the right direction.
Oh my god. This has been a wild day for her. Overwhelming. Uh-huh. Who the fuck are you
Apologies for the delay.
talking to?
Still empty-handed. You see how your lack of results could be construed as ineptitude.
If you thought less of me, I wouldn't be here.
If one faces failure, you drink the odium. Fight your last in a wave of savage glory.
Is this
I
Cassius'
hope
dad?
fortune turns your way. And of course, hail Hydra.
No! Fuck this Hydra shit. Ugh. Now wait just one goddamn minute. What? The odium, that is a Kree thing, or specifically a Cassius family thing, maybe even. He didn't look blue, so maybe that doesn't matter. But what the actual fuck? This is too much for me. My brain can't handle the season because I think I know what's happening and then all of a sudden I fucking don't. So, I mean, it's interesting and shocking and everything, but like keeping it all straight is tough because, I mean, it's hard enough to comprehend that Fitz could do something like this, but it tracks because we've seen the very worst of Fitz. We even got to visualize it here through Fitz visualizing it himself, creating this alter ego to do the things that they don't want to do, but have to do. Like, they have to go to the future. And the only way that happens is if Daisy becomes an extinction level threat. But this is all being guided by, I guess, the Kree. I guess that's what we'll say, even though he wasn't blue. I don't think, unless it was shadows. But, God, it's hard to know, like, what comes first, you know? It's hard to even imagine the initial timeline happening where we don't go to the future. And like I said, this seems like a bootstrap paradox because it seems like we always go to the future. But can that even be true if Enoch doesn't see the initial threat to take us there in the first place? But this is the initial threat, I think, which means we did always go to the future. But like, how does that work? So let's say that we don't always go to the future. There is a timeline exists where we never go to the future and yet we still break apart the world. That would be the timeline where we don't have to give Daisy her powers back because she never lost them. What is it? What is the inciting incident that causes her to quake the world? That is still going to happen even when we do go to the future and come back. It's still there. But it's not caused by us going to the future because the rip doesn't happen unless we go to the future. So it would have to be a threat that is seeming cooked up by the Kree or Cassius' family or whatever the fuck. There's a lot of things that are just like thrown at everything and it kind of like flips things, but then you're like, well, does that actually have anything to do with that? Like the fear dimension, you assume that you know, they do the whole astronaut thing to remind you that all these anomalies are happening. And so you see Leopold and you're like, well, fuck, here's the next one. Because to show the astronaut, which I think is Gemma's ex, they didn't like name him. But they did, I think Daisy said, like, that must have been really hard for you. So, yeah, a reminder of that whole thing. But Leopold was just something that's been happening to Fitz. And I don't think they made it seem like it is a result of the anomaly. It's just a result of the stress he's under, that he's fractured his brain, possibly due to his prior brain injury, because we saw him seeing Gemma before when she wasn't actually there. I don't remember how that resolved. Like, what made him stop seeing her? Other than just healing, I guess. But you know, you could totally see how this could potentially happen again because of all the stress he's under, not sleeping and everything. Also, like, not only is all this time travel been happening, but like he is still dealing with what he was in the framework. And I love to see it. I mean, I hate to see it because it's hard, but I like that there's ultimate consequences to what the framework was and what it showed everyone. And what it showed Fitz was like the hardest to swallow, to know that you could, under certain circumstances, be someone like this. So all of that combined, happening to him, making him, I think there must have been a part of him that knew what needed to be done. Like, Daisy had to get her powers back. And the only way he could accept that fact that he had to be the one that do it is to turn himself into Leopold. And he couldn't do that to himself. So he did that to a part of himself that he could fracture and feel like it wasn't him. Did he think it was the anomaly at any point? I mean, it would be a good cover for himself to be like, oh, this must be the anomaly, and I'm okay with it because it's allowing something to happen that I know needs to happen, even though I feel like I myself can't do it, even though he really can because he did. And not only did it fracture himself, it fractured himself in a way that he felt completely removed and that he was that person, because he not only did the hard thing, he was also awful. He did terrible things to get it to happen. Like went after Mac, and then the way he did it to Daisy. It's not like he was like explaining this is just the hard choice that has to happen. He's like forcing it to happen and, you know, being awful to her. It's really fucked, man. It's a lot for Fitz to hold in his head about himself. And you can see why his mind might fracture when coming up with this idea, because he did it. This is all him. But I love how this ties back into the framework. I actually adore that. Not that it makes me feel good. It makes me feel awful. But like to thread the seasons together in a way that really, really binds them, because it has felt very separated, because we had to jump immediately into time travel and all of that. So this really just feels like it feels like something I really wished that we could have had that I didn't think we were going to get. And now that we have it, I'm very grateful for it. And it's just shocking. And, you know, Gemma to have to come to terms with this as well. Like, it's shocking. But it also feels right that if they were going to say that this is something that that Fitz is capable of, then Leopold resides in him. And for him to pull him out of himself shows that that darkness wasn't just created in the framework. But I don't think that's necessarily a real indictment on Fitz's character. I think everyone has the capability of evil, of that devil on your shoulder. So him just accessing it, I think, because he knew it was possible through the framework, I think he was like, well, I am capable of this, so let me conjure him. And he did. But he didn't do any of that consciously, which is so wild to think about. So, wow, I'm actually gobsmacked by a lot of that. I almost felt like I didn't get it, but I feel like I kind of get it. But also the time travel stuff still is so blurry to me. Like, it almost feels like chicken or the egg, or a paradox of how this could have happened and who's been pulling the strings, and this is tying back into Cassius for sure, which I have not missed him. So for this to get kind of brought back in is kind of like, ugh. But it makes sense to not only show us who really is in charge, or who has kind of been infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. again, once again, Hydra. Okay, but like, what does that mean? You know, like, are they using the basis of what was already there, this Hydra that had infiltrated before, kind of using that to swoop in, and because there's a lane for it, they are like, oh yeah, hell, Hydra, that's what we're here for. But really they have their own actual beliefs? Or is this them being like, actually no, we've been pulling the strings for Hydra for all of this time. All Hydra was to lead up to this. We were pulling the strings with Red Skull and all that. And I don't know if I love that, because Nazism and everything it means is deeply human. And I don't think a scapegoat like an alien race trying to manipulate us should be what you're saying. Humanity does not get off the hook like that. So maybe that's not what they're trying to say. But to hail Hydra at all, that was weird. And yeah, also using Ivanov as a bit of a red herring. Like, he's there and he's helping, but he's not in charge, and his strings are getting pulled just like everyone else's. Although I guess his head in the jar is something that we're still like dealing with. But it's not him either. Like, S.H.I.E.L.D doesn't really answer to him. They're just working together, it seems. Maybe the Hydra is the thread that combines them. But, like, Ivanov's not really Hydra. He was his own bullshit. And they definitely likened him to Putin here, which was interesting. But, that was a lot, Robin. Like, what the fuck was that? But I like it. And I like Deke being there to comfort Gemma because of what she just witnessed. It was a lot for her to take in. Obviously, she threw up because it was just so overwhelming to her. But to show her that the future version of Fitz makes it out of this okay because their daughter thinks the world of him. And they can't get to that point if this Fitz succumbs to the worst version of himself in Leopold. So I think it is a comfort to her. It's just knowing that that's your grandson is, that's just too much to wrap her head around, especially after what she just went through and saw in Fitz. So I think it was a very smart thing to do to introduce this idea about what Fitz's mind has done during the anomaly stuff, because it couched it so well. You're like, oh yeah, well, this is an anomaly again. And I kept wondering why they kept the storyline going. I'm like, oh my God, I know this fear dimension needs to be shut. But I figured like the episode would start and they were like, and we took care of that. Like, I even think it was like, once we got the gravitonium, I was like, well, I'm sure they just handled it. But they had to get it in there. And the only way they can do it is through Daisy. And that is only one reason we need her. We also need her to quake the world. So I think, like, right? Like, we have to go back. And it can't just be to save Phil. I know, like, that needs to happen as well. But it can't be just that, guys. We can't just do it for that reason. Unless that's what we do. That's what, like, older Yo-Yo made it seem like. But there has to be something else that we learn that is vital in that future time in order to stop what's happening now. I would think, but I don't know. So I'm going to marinate on all of this. This was a lot. This was so much. And I liked it. I really did. I really liked what they did here. Because, last episode, I wasn't necessarily happy with that episode. I was just like, oh, come on. Let's get back to the future. And then I realized how many episodes we have left this season. And I was like, well, actually, it is going to take them a while because we still got a lot of episodes to go. And I was like, maybe this season would have been better as like a 13 episode season. Like the next couple of seasons are shortened. I think that might have helped the storyline. But now they have prolonged this particular point in the show in a very interesting way. So as long as that continues, I'm into delaying us getting back to the future because there is a lot still here to handle and to understand about why the future happens in the first place. So for all of this to tie back into what Fitz has got going on, these complicated issues like with Yo-Yo and her admitting that, she didn't say everything like that future her tells herself, but she was like, Mag, I exist in the future, so don't worry about me. But at the same time, she's like, well, if I die, that means the loop stops. And that's a good thing too, which is dark, but like an interesting thought. Like maybe we don't get back to the future. But I kind of laid my hat on that idea that that's how we save Phil. They're not going to kill Phil, so how do you save him? But there are also other things percolating. So maybe it isn't that we go back to the future. Maybe we do need to stop the loop by not going back. That just seems so shocking to me, though. I just assumed 100% that we did have to go back. And it's all signs are pointing to yes, that we do. But this has given me pause for the first time. But I still don't know what is spreading, you know? Like, what's that about? It can't just be to save Phil. I just don't think that's what it is. I think that's a byproduct. A very good byproduct. But a byproduct nonetheless. I don't know. I continue to talk myself in circles about this season. And just when I think I know what's happening, I absolutely don't. Which is exciting and fun. And I like that. And this episode certainly was a plot twist in a way that I was like, what? So, good episode. And this really brought back a lot of things that we had prior dealings with. And just unexpected, which makes a great episode. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back soon.